Get over here. Stop. He's so adorable. Oh my god. It's adorable. Oh my god. Every time I go to do this, you're over here. Why are you soaking wet? What did you step in? What did you step in? Did you go play in the water? Did you think that was a pool? You can't do that, okay? Not a pool. That's what you drink. Oh, okay. Let's see. We got some fascinating news for a Sunday. Many of you know Jesus is a shaman. Jesus. Shaman for your soul. Spiritual shaman. Well, spiritual, that's redundant, right? But there's interesting news happening. News in the world concerning ayahuasca. I should just sing everything in a jingle. Where is it? We're going to talk about this. Psychedelic DMT, also known as the spirit rope. Is that what they were calling it? This fucking cat. The spirit rope, or liani of the soul. It can help you if you've had a stroke. You're unlike the others, aren't you? You really like humans. Yes, you do. So, what is it? Yeah. Word ayahuasca originating from Quechan languages spoken in the Andes. Ooh, remember that movie? Alive? Is that what it's called? Or Society of Snow? That was a good one too. I think they crashed in the Andes Mountains. But that is the ayahuasca. That's why they call it the spirit rope, because it looks like ropes hanging down from the trees. They cut it up, cook it up, drink some tea. Cut it up, cook it up, drink some tea. Everything's going to be a jingle today. But great news. You know, that stupid war on drugs is fading away. What? And as it fades away, more and more scientists will be able to research what those drugs, why they were naturally gifted to us by the ancient shaman Jesus of Galilee, Jesus the Nazarene. Hi, buddy. You're so cute. You're so cute. You're so funny that you're one of the cats that will just sit with you. Where do you want to go now? Just please don't go play in the water, okay? Don't go play in the water. Don't go play in the water, or I'm gonna have to pick you up again. So what is it? In Hungary, Hungary has investigated whether DMT, a naturally occurring psychedelic compound, could protect brain cells from the damage caused by a stroke. The results hold great promise for the development of a human treatment. And I linked this story down below so you can read it for yourself. But this foolish drug war that, who was it, Tricky Dick Nixon? That he set forth, you know. Sometimes we have the most silly wars here in America. You know, they're like, we're gonna have a war on terror. Oh, really? Does that include clowns with the war on terror? Because those terrorize some people. You know, you see them late in the woods at night. Remember when that was a thing? People ain't got the time or money for that anymore. To just go clowning at night late in the woods. I don't like sometimes how vocal these chitling hyenas are. Is that what they are? There are a certain species of hyena. And sometimes they just walk around talking like I speak cat, you know, like I'm fluent cat. I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, but I'm not taking that class on Duolingo, all right? So we're going to talk about we're going to talk about that a little bit. All right. That should be the opening for the ayahuasca. The ancient shaman news. Ayahuasca, it turns out, can heal you after a stroke. You hear that, President? We seen your little strokey smile. DF, that's what I was. Yep, there we go. It's in the comments too. Give Trump some DMT. Afternoon, telephonator. I get harassed every day. It's so funny, the people that come in here, they're like, this guy's harassing me. He's going live, and I keep going directly to his live stream. Here, I'll help you. You can go to timeout until tomorrow. That is the, you know that dude's white. That is the hilarious victimhood of these, you know, white men that just have to play the victim. They have to. And you'll see them. They'll show up. They'll show up. They'll show up. And they always go like, I hate that this guy wants healthcare for all, and he wants medical science researchers to investigate, you know, what usages we can get out of these natural occurring substances to help potential stroke victims and other people. And they'll be like, I can't stand this guy. Come here. What are you doing? What are you telling those kids to do? The MAGA snowflakes, you know it, Telefonator. You know it. But it's just weird because it's like, guys, I'm very clear. I'm very clear. When I say hit subscribe, I say it's not for all of you. The people who think billionaires shouldn't be taxed, the people who love cutting healthcare for, you know, Americans, the ones who, you know, think Donald Trump doesn't lie constantly. That's like his only religion. Like, those are the people. Those are the people. Hold on. What? I don't know. This cat. Okay. No. Just stop. I don't know who you're talking to. All your kids want to sleep. I don't know who you're talking to. A brief moment for our sponsors. Thank you, Till Rochelle. A brief moment for this. Loud as F. And you don't even want attention from me right now. It's not even what you're going for. You're trying to wake up all those little hyenas. I love these people. Name a lie so I can debunk you. That the Epstien list isn't interesting or important. Go ahead, debunk that one. Oh God, these people are exhausting. These people are so exhausting. Oh man, there's a ton of them, you know, but I would just say the Epstien list, you know, remember he went on Fox News, said, yeah, I'll release it. So major pain. Debunk me. Prove to me that he released the Epstien list. Because he went on Fox News and said, yes, I'll release it. So that's just one of the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lies. So, okay, we're not going to wait because here's the thing. Donald is a liar. You know, and it's sad because these grown men have spent their life spent their life dedicated to protecting the feelings of a fragile Nepo baby who, you know, just can't handle any kind of criticism.
And the fact that 300 million people died last year from drugs, that's what's illegal.
300 million people died last year in America from drugs. You know, there's only 41 million people in America, but, you know, Donald said there's 300 million people that died last year in America from drugs. So, guys, most of us died last year from drugs.
Don't take Tylenol.
Oh, man.
No more beardos.
No more beardos. All you beardos, get out of here. Michael O, good afternoon. Back from my internet break. Ooh, that's a good thing to do. That is a good thing to do. Highly encourage that. All MAGA can do is call names. That's it. That's it. You know? I just said two. He was going to release the Epstien files. He went on Fox News. And then I said, I played a clip for you where he said 300 million people died last year from drugs. That was two. And everyone's like, I'm waiting for a live, man. We all died last year from drugs, and he's already released the files. But there's some stuff I actually want to play for you. These loser guys that, you know, dedicate their life to just defending Donald Trump. Let me dunk on you. I don't care. Go worship him somewhere else, you know? Like, go. Most of us know he's a racist Nepo baby who's inept at everything, is wicked stupid. He's a moron. He's very racist. He's a piece of trash that is harming everyone in the country, whether you voted for him or not. And he doesn't care about this country. He doesn't care about free speech. He doesn't care about your rights. He doesn't care about the judges. He doesn't care about anything. And I'm not here to debate that with you. I get it. Your whole stance is like, I'll just defend him. I'm not open-minded at anything. Us white guys can't say the R word anymore. We're under attack. Like, that's your whole thing. I don't give a shit. You know, go somewhere else. Go. Because we're going to actually talk about the news. I'm done entertaining you losers. Here, I'll let you, I don't know if the MAGAs can read, but here's some stuff, you know, that Trump's done. Here's some stuff. I don't know if you can read or not, but Donald Trump only cares about himself, you know. And the worst part is he's in the Epstein files, and these people are defending a creep pervo, you know, who in the 90s, from 20 years and on, was being accused and being told, you know, you got to look into this guy, you got to look into him and his friend and his ring of creep friends down in Palm Beach, you know, and then his two best friends went to prison. But Donald's just a creep perv, and I just hope you don't have daughters, and I hope you don't go near any kids, because, you know, I wouldn't say like you're the one to be trusted if you defend a guy like this. Because he has no interest in keeping our communities safe. He led Ghislaine Maxwell to a prison with no walls. Absolute epitome of self-serving, egotistical, doesn't care. So there you go. If you want to watch, I would post this in my, if you hit subscribe, I could post this. But it's okay. For most of us who can read and see what's happening, witnessing ICE and, you know, the military being sent to American cities. For the rest of us that care about, you know, how our neighbors are doing. But this was something I wanted to play for you. Jane Goodall passed, and I didn't talk about it.
Chicken jockey.
Not the time, man. Not the time. And there was a clip of her being circulated on Reddit. And I thought it was real cool, but also kind of creepy, but also very heartfelt. Jane Goodall, obviously, known from, oh, that's kind of weird. Look at that. That's kind of weird. Maybe I'll do this and I'll read to you what she said, because it's on Netflix. That is kind of weird. Jane Goodall recorded this interview in March 2025 with the understanding that it would be released only after her death, which is cool. And in the beginning of it, she says, hold on, I'm just going to pipe it down and play. Hold on. So I would like to put them on one of Musk's spaceships and send them off to a planet he's sure he's going to discover. So she's saying the same thing I've been saying. Like, hate to break it to you, all you Martians. Is that what you call people who are fans of Mars? Hate to break it to all you Martians, but humans can't live on Mars. We don't have the tech. It's a whole grift. You know, it's just to get more investment, more tax money, to keep wasting it while he keeps paying himself absolutely obscene amounts of money. So Jane Goodall says, you know, oh yeah, he'd be the host. Elon Musk would be the host, and then the interviewer says, can you imagine anybody else you put on that spaceship? And she says, well, along with Musk would be Trump and Trump supporters. I would put Putin in there. And then she says President Xi, whatever his name is, which was kind of rad, you know, this lady who knew, like, you know, I'm going to shuffle loose this mortal coil at some point, and I want to leave Earth with a final transmission. I thought that was cool. And then she says this. I want to see if I can play a little bit of it.
I want to leave.
What message do I want to leave?
I want to make sure that you all understand that each and every one of you has a role to play.
And then she goes on. She says, each and every one of you has a role to play. She says, hold on, I'm going to mute it because the end part is good too. You may not know it. You may not find it. But your life matters. And you're here for a reason. And I just hope that that reason will become apparent. That's a beautiful thing. That she, you know this lady's got some wisdom, because she's saying maybe you still feel like you haven't found that thing that is your life calling. A lot of us probably feel like that. And she's saying, I hope that that will become apparent. I hope it will uncover itself to you. Turvit used. Let's take our problems, which we've decided not to solve, to another planet. That's a great quote. Oh my God. It's so funny. That's all they want to do, you know? That's what they want to do. They're like, let's go bring our Coca-Cola cans to Mars. But this message from Jane is so rad. And I know times are tough, so we might not all have Netflix, but is this where she says it at the end? Hold on. It might not. Oh, okay, hold on.
The power to make a difference. Children alive today and for those that will follow.
She's saying make it, you know, a better place for the children and for those who will follow.
You have it in your power to make a difference.
You do.
Don't give up. There is a future for you. Do your best while you're still on this beautiful planet Earth.
So, and she says, don't lose hope. And I really wanted to share that because that's such a beautiful thing. And so many people are caught up in the, like, I gotta defend my Lord King. I gotta, you know, not even paying attention to the consequences. The real life consequences that are rippling out, and so we're gonna have to deal with these for years, you know. Jane Goodall was a great lady. She was known. She was the one who, I don't know what she did with the gorillas. Did she teach them sign language? What did she do? I know she lived among them forever, right? But I'm not exactly sure. Who's saying you break the law of Leviticus? Guys, if you're Jewish, yeah, and you break the law of Leviticus, I guess you're in trouble. For those who believe in Jesus, which is the next story. I've been seeing more of this James Tallarico. this Democrat down in Texas. And some of the stuff he's saying is so well said that I wanted to share part of it with you.
Christian nationalists walk around with a mouthful of scripture and a heart full of hate.
Mouthful of scripture and a heart full of hate. Remind you anyone? You know, those are the people that use the Bible as a weapon. Sometimes they quote stuff from, I ironically say, from Leviticus. You know, they'll say like, Leviticus this. And it's like, well, I'm not Jewish, so I don't have to pay attention to that. Hate to break it to you. And I'll let James go on because he's echoing a lot of the things I've said here on my channel.
Don't tell me what you believe. Show me how you treat other people, and I'll tell you what you believe.
There we go. Don't tell me what you believe. Show me how you treat others. I think that's such a key message that I've tried to get across here. You know, especially all the people that are doing it in the name of, whatever that means, whoever they're doing it in the name of. Whether it's Donald or God or whatever. James points out why doing it in the name of really means nothing.
Jesus didn't tell us to love our churches. He didn't tell us to love our doctrines and our creeds.
And I think he's specifically addressing, remember when Just Dance Vance went on TV? I forget what show. He went on some TV show and he was like, I'm pretty sure if you're a Christian, you know you're supposed to love God, then your family, then your neighbor, and then your church, and then your local Dairy Queen, and then Pizza Hut, obviously, and then a couch. Hold on. Come here. What are you doing? Come here. Come over here. Come here. Yeah, what do you want though? Come here. Come here. So the fact that he's addressing, you know, this head on, saying like, Jesus didn't say like, first you love the church, then you love your family, then you love this. Like, he didn't.
He didn't even tell us to love our scriptures. He told us to love our neighbors.
Oh, I say that all the time.
And there was no exception to that commandment. Love thy neighbor, regardless of race, class, gender, sexual orientation, or immigration status.
Ooh. You know who gets maddest at that? The Christians. Whenever I say stuff like that, these are the people who will be like, how dare you? Somebody told me the other day that I was rage baiting Christians. And I said, rage baiting? Really? With talking about Jesus and what he said? It's always so funny.
One of my favorite theologians, Barbara Brown Taylor, once wrote, the only clear line I draw these days is this. When my religion tries to come between me and my neighbor, I will choose my neighbor. Jesus never commanded me to love my religion.
Ooh, that's some fire he's throwing. And I always say Jesus wasn't a Christian. Jesus, there was no Christianity at the time of Jesus, just so everybody is aware. He celebrated Passover. He was Jewish. There was no Christianity. He wasn't saying like, you gotta, you know, be a Christian more than anything. He said, follow me. Or shoot, I don't want to jump ahead or say stuff that James is going to say, but I think he's charting a good course here.
You know what's interesting? Not once in the entire Bible does Jesus ask us to worship him.
Oh, interesting. He doesn't.
All he asks is that we follow him.
Interesting. Just follow his lead.
Love like he loved.
Forgive.
Love the outcast. Welcome the stranger. Feed the hungry. Heal the sick. Free the oppressed. As the hymn says, they will know we are Christians by our love.
That's actually now like a modern day joke. You can tell a Christian by his love because a lot of the Christian love nowadays is, you know, chanting lock her up or something. I don't know. I don't know what is going on. Jesus was also the OG OHG, sorry. You got to throw the H in there. But he was an OG, the original ghost, the original Holy Ghost. So when I would do paranormal stuff and people would be like, how dare you? What does Jesus think? I was like, oh, yo, he was the original Holy Ghost. Don't worry about it. He was the first one, like the first paranormal show, the first paranormal like program that technically wasn't on TV, but the first documentation of Christianity and paranormal ghost shows is the Bible. When Jesus, reappeared to Mary, and then he, let Thomas put his fingers through the holes where he was crucified as a ghost, because he was showing up as a ghost, I hate to break it to you, but a lot of people didn't like that one either. I don't know. I just don't get it, man. People ain't open-minded. Who's the crazy guy? Teal Roche. That was not in the 90s. What was the 90s? 90s had some great stuff. So I wanted you to check out that. This dude, I put a link down below about him. James Tallarico. I've seen quite a few things with this guy mentioning stuff and talking like this, and you love to hear it because it doesn't get amplified enough. But it's the truth, It's the one truth. You should be measured to how you treat others. That's what Jesus wanted you to do. Cast the first stone, heal the sick, all that stuff, man. And then I wanted to play, before we talk about DMT, before we get into this, where is it? Status Coup News. I don't know if you guys watch any of this, but it's amazing. I linked it down below. And this is a 22-year veteran who is commenting on ICE and immigration. And Status Coup always does amazing interviews, amazing work. I highly recommend this channel. They got feet on the ground. They're everywhere. And they're not, they're not shaping a corporate narrative, trying to propagandize your perspective. They're not trying to feed you like baby birds of what they want you to believe. And I wanted to play a clip of this for you because this dude was rad.
It's gotta come from the heart.
Yeah, I cannot stand these guys, man. I watch, people out here running for their fucking life, man. That lady in Walmart running for like hours, man, hiding. And notice they're going after people who work. Yeah. Right? They sat here. Immigration itself is really about white supremacy. Mm-hmm. Let's just cut to the chase. Immigration has always served to keep America white. They tell you whatever bullshit lies from Operation Wetback. This goes back in history. So we know now you really see what America's about. They put white supremacy over everything, over the rule of law, over the separation of powers, and now they want to fund ICE at a higher rate than funding the Marine Corps. That is the danger. That means they're going to use these people to stay in power. Right? They're using them right now. If you see, they desensitized the military already to kill people. But they're telling you it's okay to kill drug dealers and because they're moving drugs, so you can kill them now.
And those are lies too. We documented that here on this channel. We saw the interview with the lady whose husband was a fisherman, went out on a boat and never came home, at the same timeline where Donald Trump is on TV saying, we droned a boat in the Caribbean. Just trust me, bro, it wasn't good, guys. So they're working overtime on being, I don't know if you call it war criminals or what, but they're just, there's no rule of law for them.
Right, so they're going to continue to desensitize these people before they turn the guns on us. You need to be ready before that moment happens.
This dude, his interview, go watch the whole thing on Status Coup News. I linked it down below. He's absolutely incredible. And he's got, hey, what's up, Francis? Good to see you. Emily H. His ICE officers are also immigrants for the most part. That's true. I don't think there's many native tribes working as ICE. From everything I've been reading, Edward, what's up, man? Tia is back. Have you seen her in here yet? No. Who's Tia? My apologies. Sorry, I have not seen a Tia, but if there's a Tia here, hello. Yeah, I don't see a Tia in the chat. I'm not gonna go not going to go back too far. Finally, a regular one. Sup, yo. Hey, what's going on, Ryan? Nathaniel, you should just look into the history of the white supremacy, immigration, fear mongering. If you don't believe that, you should really look into it. I highly encourage you to learn a little bit about the history, and how, you know, there's a joke going around between the people who know and the people who don't, that, you know, like the Proud Boys, let's say. The Proud Boys are led by a dude named Enrique Tarrico or something. Harry, I don't know what his name is. Who cares? He's a rat. He's a fed rat. But he's not white. Technically. If anybody also can name what country white people come from, you know, you win. Spoiler alert, there's no Whitelandia. So white is just a general term that they use to stoke the fears of certain people to keep the classes divided. And really, if you look back through history, like at one point, the Italians weren't considered white. The Irish weren't considered white. Like, there was always someone who got let into the white group. And that's why now it's funny, because you can have a dude named Nick Fuentes and just hear his last name and be like, oh, he couldn't be. There's no way he could be a white supremacist, right? With the last name Fuentes, you'd figured they wouldn't let him in that club. Turns out he's leading the charge. Another dude named Enrique, and he's in the Proud Boys. I'm like, the hilarity of it, that's why I had to invent the word sad-larious, because it's so sad, but it's hilarious at the same time. Like, this is like a bad comedy, you know? Like, white supremacist Enrique. But because, you know, Trump doesn't care who does the work for him, the Stephen Millers don't care who the boots on the ground are, because they're all replaceable. They don't care about any of them. So some dude named Enrique Fuentes wants to be a white supremacist for him. They're like, let him out, have at it. Go ahead, boys. You know, they don't care, but just in the name alone, it's hilarious. So Nathaniel, I would really encourage you to just look back through history, and how, you know, whiteness came to be. And it came to be as, you know, something to instill fear of others, of those who are immigrating here, and how it's used as a tool throughout the ages, especially in America, to keep them focused on the culture war, not the class war. Thank you, Edward Thornton. There's a dude named Raphael Edward Cruz, who's, you might know, as a Texas senator who likes his preferred pronouns of Ted. But his name is Raphael and he's a Canadian. Oh my God. It's so funny. Oh. What's up, Thor Ben? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right. So really, I encourage you to, I linked it down below. Not that. Check out Status Coup News. This is I think it's like an 8-minute video. It's very easily digestible, and this dude is on point and sharing knowledge. He's been serving since like the 90s and then left under Obama. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing now, but he was just giving his thoughts on what's going on in the country and how surreal it is, you know, that there is no more rule of law. There's nothing. But I wanted to talk about this because I've been saying stuff like this forever. I've been barking up this tree since the 90s, that a lot of these natural elements that are hallucinogenics or powerful whatever, powerfully magic, have health benefits. But because Tricky Dick Nixon and the politicians in this country, you know, like to stoke fears, that's like one of their favorite pastimes, they turned a whole government against finding the science benefits in things like cannabis, in things like MDMA and psilocybin. They use the whole government to say, nope, all that's, now illegal, when cannabis was legal here for a while. I mean, most of the drugs were legal at some point. And some of these, have real life medical benefits, as we're seeing now. This is ayahuasca. And it's even funnier to me in modern age where you got to do like old ketamine Elon, who's jumping around on stage, clearly, geeked up, acting a nut, holding a chainsaw on stage, just out of his mind, and open about his ketamine use. Maybe too open about his ketamine use, which, by the way, is still not legal in the US. So the fact that he could do that and have such close access to the president and be in the White House, you would figure they would be drug testing people, and not him. Old special boy Elon, old illegal immigrant Elon Musk. You might know him from such hits as
Legalized comedy.
Yeah, you know that guy. Yeah, he, was very open and clear. Like, I microdose ketamine. That's what Elon said many times. And then worked in our government. Not once had to pass a drug test. It's so incredible what some of these people will allow. Because remember, we the people, like, we can totally reject this and be like, as a collective, we're done with this. Like, I got to take a drug test to, do whatever job that doesn't even operate heavy machinery. But we got Elon Musk being like, I just microdosed ketamine, going around with a chainsaw, while working in the government. It's fucking bananas, folks. But I guess as long as, there's people who will just vehemently defend their side till they die for no other reason than it's their team, which please stop doing that, Left or right, it doesn't matter. You should just be for the people. And the reason I played that Jesus stuff before is because Jesus was trying to tell you that. Jesus was like, the stranger in your town, feed them. If they're thirsty, give them something to drink. For whoever you did that to, for the least of those you did that to me. That's what Jesus tried to say. And some of you guys are just like, shut up, Jesus. I got some dunking on the libs to do and drinking their tears. And it's like, man, you just totally missed the message on that one. But I really, it's so frustrating to be like, oh yeah, that ketamine user, that illegal immigrant ketamine user is in the White House named Elon. And he just gets to do whatever he wants with no repercussions. And did you notice how he fired all the, what were the ones, all the ethics and compliance agencies first? He was like, all the ones that are investigating me, you're out of here. Man. And there will be no justice until we, the people, decide that there should be. Because they're criminal. This is criminal behavior. But I've been saying, oh, what's up, Crush? Good to see the North New Jersey Devil in the house. He told someone that he can't control his bladder. Well, with that much ketamine, like, that's the least of my worries. Elon peeing on everything, I wouldn't care. The fact that he was no guardrails, no nothing, getting to fire and access to all of our social security numbers, all of our data, like, he mined through all of that, They went through all of it, If he wet his pants while he did it, I don't give a shit. My bigger thing is, like, how come he gets to do ketamine in the White House and all of us can't, I just want to have the Elon experience. I want to be an illegal immigrant in another country and do ketamine in their parliament or whatever. I think we should all get that kind of privilege. Ketamine is first and foremost a tranquilizer. And of course, he was soiling himself. Oh my God. Elon, get rid of the CFPB. Thorben, you understand the CFPB, if you're talking about the same one, you're talking about the Consumer Financial Bureau? Oh, you weren't calling them the scam police. Okay. Now I've read that correctly. Sorry. Sorry. I thought you were calling them the scam police, but you meant like they police scams. Okay, I get so confused for a minute. Yes, that was when like Mark Bruno Mars Zuckerberg was going on Joey Rogan, Polio Rogan, and being like CFPB. I don't even know what that is, man. When I've personally interacted with them, like they've helped me in stuff. They've helped other people I know. The CFPB, especially under Lena Khan, was doing amazing work. And that was the first thing they went after because they were holding all these companies accountable from being able to grift and scam you. So yes, thank you, Thorben. Yeah, Ryan, CFPB had your back, and that is way long gone. That's why I'm saying, like, they just made it ripe for, like, meme coin. Like, America's going to be, the home of the meme coin now. And anyone and everyone who can scam or run a pyramid scheme or a multi-level marketing scheme, we're all going to be tied into timeshare contracts for, a 12-pack of eggs. Like, we're all doomed. That's what I was saying. Like, nothing's legal anymore. One of the only agencies in charge of reining in predatory prank practices. Exactly, Michael. 100%. Thank you, Crush. Sub, share, hit that like button, and then the notification bell. Appreciate you guys. But back to this, the DMT. I've been saying this since the 90s, at least the 90s, and not necessarily with ayahuasca, although, I would maybe like to start a church here in America because I heard with religious freedom, as long as you start the right church, I think you have to have the right religion, but as long as with religious freedom, you can still participate in shamanic, ancient shaman ceremonies. So if anybody knows how to start a church and would like to do that with me, where we can hold ancient shaman ceremonies as our ritual, I would like to do that. Emily, he also got rid of the testing for the food we buy, putting it on the states with no warning, and the states can't afford to do it. So many foodborne illness breakouts. Yup. KRAR, that's how they did it in Hawaii to get around the federal cannabis laws at first. Yeah, that's why I've, for decades now, been like, how do you start up one of those churches where you have an ancient ceremony with ayahuasca? Psilocybin and cannabis. So yeah, hit subscribe if you're into that kind of stuff, and maybe we could, have a community on here that we can call a church, and we can all worship at home, and we could figure this out. You know what I mean? But this study that I've been saying, these naturally occurring elements in nature can't just be for no freak reason. They didn't make this stuff happen in nature because, in the year of our Lord 2025, they wanted the government to be able to put you in a small cage over it, Like, that's not why God created this stuff. And the shamans, let's be realistic. These shamans knew that. That's why they were doing cool blacklight posters for us, The shamans knew what was up. They knew that these magical, how they found out that those magical sticks were the magic ones, beyond me, but I would watch a documentary on it. And now, look at this. Researchers, I can't point, I gotta get a pointer. A new study by researchers in Hungary has investigated whether DMT, a naturally occurring psychedelic compound, could protect brain cells from damage caused by stroke. Ooh, somebody let the president know. Did you guys see that Google AI is not allowing you to look up dementia and Donald Trump? I wonder why. We don't need to look it up. It's very clear. You just watch him speak and you're like, oh, yeah, that dude totally has dementia.
I said, well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen.
But earlier in this article, it talks about how a new study found that subhallucinogenic doses, so I'm guessing that's microdosing, DMT shielded the brain from stroke damage in animal models, reducing inflammation, preserving the blood-brain barrier, and speeding recovery. The effects of an ischemic stroke, where blood supply to the brain is blocked, can vary depending on the area that's affected, but commonly include physical impairments like one-sided weakness and balance issues, and cognitive challenges such as problems with speech and memory. I will randomly play a clip. No relation.
I said, well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen.
Oh, so that's what happens after a stroke? I saw something about a guy who had massive problems after using too much K. I was trying to do ayahuasca session to help him with this problem. Yeah, I've seen these documentaries back before we had all streaming. They would have documentaries about these people taking, they would like book, I don't know, Expedia. I don't know what was the William Shatner one. Priceline, you know, way back in the infancy of the internet before there was just like kayak or whatever. And they would book these trips down to South America and meet with these shamans. And they would be like, I'm here for OCD. I'm here for depression. I'm here for addiction. People will come from all over. And if you listen to, there was a few podcasts I listened to. The dude who helped write the Chappelle Show, I forget his name. The little white dude with glasses. He's super funny, super smart. He would talk about going and doing ayahuasca. And it's like a religious experience. I included another link down below where, oh, what the fuck is that? Lighting on? Wow, that's cool. I had no idea you could do lighting. Another link where the BBC Three says the DMT trip feels like dying, and scientists now agree, and they compare it to a NDE, near-death experience. But I've heard it works wonders. I don't know. Microdosing, yeah. Not hero dose. Those big doses, you've seen a detachment and inability to come back to reality. Yeah. Around the time The Matrix came out, I witnessed that in a few different people with the hero's dose and going to see The Matrix. And they were never the same again. Neil Brennan, thank you, Thorben. He had a podcast where him and that chick would talk about his ayahuasca trip and how it's so funny when people who didn't really consume these natural magical elements in their younger career, and when they finally do experience and they talk about it like we were in the 90s, we were like, yeah, man, we've known for years. We've known for decades. We've been trying to tell you guys. We've been trying to let you know. But we were all just shoved off as like, you know, whatever the bigoted, biased word was, you know. They'd be like, oh, losers. And it was like, no, we're on to something, man. We're telling you. I've seen serious improvement in friends' blood pressure microdosing self-grown mushrooms. Yeah, Emily, there's a ton of studies, and there's actually a ton of companies now that have popped up over the past few decades that are investing in that. The thing is when the government has these drugs scheduled, like cannabis is a Schedule 1, so it's very hard for the people who study that and the science field and, you know, whatever colleges may run trials or stuff, it's very hard for them to get access and not be in fear of retaliation from the government. And that's why if we can release these, decriminalize them, we can have more people studying them. And mushrooms, the psilocybin was just on the ballot here in Massachusetts last year. I voted for it. I said, yes, please legalize it. If we do that, and we can have people at MIT or Harvard or I don't know what science school, you know, study the effects of this, we could help veterans with PTSD. There's really, really incredible results that can happen. And I'm just telling you from personal experience, you know, from my personal experience, I was like, it was a medicine, man. DMT. Yeah, they're saying it's a promise for stroke, but I wouldn't put it past, you know, PTSD. The one thing I do know is if you look up psilocybin's microdosing for PTSD, that is almost proven at this point, you know, but if they'll legalize it, I don't know. It's all for a form of control, you know, that's why the government has it. So if they want to lock you up, they can. It's so insane. It's just absolutely insane. Dissociative condition with K, yeah. 100%. From personal experience, 100% medicine. But so I linked all these articles because I really wanted to show you this, especially on a Sunday, you know, on a Shaman Sunday where we say,
Chicken jockey.
I don't know if that's what we say, but you know, and when the people used to tell us,
Your brain's cooked.
they would say, your brain's cooked, and we would say, no, man, I'm telling you, it's going to protect us from strokes. But we'll have to wait and see, because again, this study is being done in Hungary, where they have obviously loosened up the laws enough for the science people to run the trials, do this stuff. You would only pray and hope that America would, you know, value science and value human life enough. But, you know, when they don't even want us to have healthcare in the first place, why are they going to figure out if the natural stuff is healthy? Look for people funding who want particular results, like big tobacco, funding a study, how bad tobacco is to check if the study has validity. Correct. But again, a lot of these, like the psilocybin ones I was talking about, these were just done in, I forget what schools. They were being done in schools, you know? So this wasn't specifically like a, how do I explain this? Like, you know, this wasn't like a big tobacco thing, because there's really no big magic mushroom corporation that's trying to prove it right now. What they're trying to do is look at natural occurring elements and things that have, here's the other thing, that you know there's something to this. You know, if this can be found in ancient texts and ancient, you know, archaeological digs and from civilizations that have existed way before ours, you know, if they're like, this is a ritual that has been handed down for an eon, I would say there might be some validity to it. You know, there's no big pharma, you know, pushing the shamans to make more sales. But, you know, everything should be tax-free when there's a shutdown. Oh, I agree with that. Good to see you, Timothy. Good to see you. Good to see you. But I'm wrapping up. I get stuff to do. But join me tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. So hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I just wanted to bring you some stuff. And more importantly, the videos down below. Please check out the videos down below. Status Coup News. They had an amazing one. If you can find that Jane Goodall clip, I think I linked it down below. And then do some reading on DMT. Okay, guys. Much love. Good to see you.